What up everyone, thank you for clicking on my video. I'm Nikki, I talk about animation, and today I'm diving into probably the most iconic Disney Channel ship from the noughties, Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable. Now this show was part of my childhood, but I can't recall really shipping Kim and Ron when I was a kid. It was more just something that happened and I accepted it, but when I rewatched the show last year, I found that I actually really liked them as a couple and as a ship. And I also like the show a lot better than I realized I did. It is funny, the animation and voice acting is great, and when it plays to its continuity, its story can be downright amazing. However, one challenge I did face with this analysis is that because Kim Possible is primarily a show targeted at children in the noughties, it is mostly episodic and features the occasional moral lesson episode, which required characters to act a certain way in order to make a point. This means that there are moments in the show which contradict aspects of the characters, their personalities, and or their arcs. I choose to focus on the bigger picture, and thus I ignore these moments. I really appreciate the fact that the show didn't overdo it with the shipping. For the first 2 seasons of the show, they are just friends. However, there is an understanding in the story that they could become a couple. We could call this shipping light. So let's get into talking about them. Kim and Ron first meet when they are around 4 years old in pre-K, and they instantly become best friends. Though we never see exactly how they met, only the warped version when Dr. Dragon, Duff Killigan, and Monkey Fist go back in time and try to rewrite history, we know that Kim was really nervous about the first day being away from her mom, but when she met and befriended Ron, she felt so much better, and he has been a constant support for her from that day on.
You're weird, but I like you.
Yet it is also worth noting that they are each other's only friends until Kim befriends Monique in the middle of season 1. I'm not counting Wade because they don't really hang out with him. Speaking of Monique, she introduces us to the fact that Kim and Ron are very protective of their friendship when someone new comes along to change their dynamic. Ron gets really jealous of Kim's newfound friendship since she wants to do things with Monique she doesn't want to do with him, and uses the fact that she wants to spend time with Monique as a way to avoid going to a wrestling match he wanted to see.
Oh, we're drifting apart because you're excluding me!
I am not excluding you. It's just that you and Monique are different.
Similarly, when Ron becomes good friends with Felix, it's Kim's turn to become jealous since Ron wants to play video games with Felix, which Kim doesn't enjoy. They are each more protective of their friendship from new friends than they are when someone expresses romantic interest in one of them. Well, at least Ron is. Kim is more prone to jealousy of the two. It bothers her when Ron's a flirt and shows interest in certain types of girls.
Her name's Shigo. She's wanted in 11 countries.
Make that 12.
So not your type.
She is also suspicious of Yori when she first meets her, and once Kim and Ron begin dating, she insists that he tells Yori about their relationship. In contrast, Ron is mostly supportive about Kim's interest in Josh Mankey, and is the one who makes up the rumor that Kim has a crush on Brick Flag and encourages her to date him. It's not until Eric that Ron becomes jealous about Kim being in a relationship. A curious thing about their friendship is that despite having been best friends for over a decade, they don't have a whole lot of interests in common. They fall into the classic gender roles, such as Kim liking fashion and boy bands and cheerleading, while Ron likes video games and pro wrestling. Sometimes they even say that they don't understand why the other person likes the things they do.
You'd rather see some dead queen's clothes than watch Steel Toe's Night of 100 Bruises with me?
My answer would have to be, hello, yeah.
So it makes sense why they each grab the opportunity when they make new friends who share their interests. But this is because their bond is not so much based on what they can do together, but rather that they share the same values and also the same insecurities. They are very supportive of each other. Ron is Kim's biggest cheerleader, ready to stand by her at school and encourages her whenever they go on missions, making her feel like she really can do anything. Although sometimes Ron suffers from the occasional moral lesson episode nuking his personality. For her part, Kim does her best to support Ron when he struggles with feeling like a loser, both in school and on missions, but she is also prepared to challenge him regarding his worst tendencies.
So there's no room for Rufus in your new life?
Both of them also keep each other grounded and try to calm each other down when they spiral. At the same time, both of them struggle with how aware they are of their placement in the social hierarchy. Kim is technically popular as she is a straight-A student, a cheerleader, and in multiple extracurriculars. However, she doesn't have a lot of friends, and at times her classmates even make fun of her for her world-saving escapades.
Too busy saving the world?
You still use air quotes. Huh. Interesting.
She is a superhero, selfless, and capable of doing just about anything, but she lacks confidence in regular situations. Ron, on the other hand, is at the bottom of the barrel in the social hierarchy. He is a slacker, which leaves him with bad grades and a lack of direction in life. Whenever they go on missions, Ron is clumsy, yet Kim is almost always able to play off of his mistakes, making him integral to her victories. Although, let's be real here, Ron's skills are still very impressive since he is able to keep up with Kim. He can skydive, parasail, use jetpacks and grappling hooks and whatever else have you. Even if he messes up, he's still more capable than most people, and whenever he steps up either to go on missions alone or when he has to rescue Kim if she gets in trouble, we see that he really is capable of handling himself in sticky situations. Their school social hierarchy also plays with the rules as explained by Ron and Bonnie. These rules state who can appropriately date whom. Ron uses them simultaneously as a hurdle and as an excuse when he struggles with getting to know Sita.
They're unwritten.
Oh, like, don't call a guy the same day you get his phone number.
Yeah, that's one. And I don't stand a chance with that girl. Yeah, that's another.
Bonnie weaponizes them against Kim to demand that she dates someone befitting of the head cheerleader.
You must date a jock. It's non-optional. It's like a rule.
Ron's the exception to the rule.
He's the reason for the rule.
And even if Kim insists that she doesn't believe in these rules, she still feels the pressures of not living up to them. One of Kim's biggest insecurities is that few guys will date her because they are intimidated by her superhero status.
I'm weirding guys out. They see me on TV, roundhousing some goon out a window. It's a vivid image.
She also worries about being trendy, which is why she has to wear Club Banana clothes and can't shop at Smarty Mart, and why she only likes the O-boys when they are popular, but as soon as they are not, she drops them. Add to this, she also thinks that she has to date a certain type of guy, though she still wants someone she actually likes. In contrast, Ron struggles with girls because he's an outsider. He's at the bottom rung of the school social ladder. He gets bad grades and doesn't even have any extracurriculars. Girls are unimpressed by Ron's lack of genuine confidence in himself. This is also why it takes a while for both of them to open up to the prospect of them having feelings for each other. They are not on the same social level, so they don't think that they can think of each other in that way. This also explains why Kim sometimes tries to change Ron, like making him get a haircut. It's like she's a bit embarrassed of her feelings for him, so she tries to change him to make him a more appropriate match. This also explains why whenever Ron gets the opportunity to be popular, he lets it go to his head and he loses himself in the process. It's like he's grabbing onto the possibility that he can be better and get the girl. We also see how much they struggle when they are apart. When they are at odds with each other, Kim struggles on missions, and Ron loses himself without Kim there to ground him. Furthermore, without each other, both of them are lonely and they really miss each other. And as we know from the 3-part special, As Such in Time, the two of them are such an effective team that Shigo needs to separate them in order to take over the world. Kim can't even handle a Friday evening without hanging out with Ron.
Kimmy, you're still home? I thought Friday nights were your Ron night.
Not officially.
And as we later learn about the constant source of Ron's childhood trauma, Camp Wannaweep was a terrible experience for him because Kim wasn't there. He had to spend an entire summer without her.
Can't wanna weep. The worst summer of my life.
I know. The ticks, the poison ivy, the toxic lake. Your mom stopped accepting your phone calls.
Yeah, you know, all that stuff was bad, KP, but you know what was worse? spending a whole summer away from you.
The friends to lovers trope can be very hit or miss depending on how well a story manages to showcase the development of the pairings into a relationship. Personally, I often anti-ship friendships if the friendship offers a more interesting dynamic between the characters than the romantic relationship would. Kim and Ron manages to pull off a successful friends to lovers because their friendship is based on this emotional bond and kinship as opposed to their shared interests and hobbies. For contrast, I'll use my ultimate anti-ship, Starco from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I was so disappointed that they had to get together because they worked so well as just goofy friends fighting monsters and exploring dimensions. They had this sibling-like dynamic from the moment they met. This was easily established by both of them being only children, at least until Marco's little sister was born in later seasons. There was this sense of companionship you can only really have with your chosen family kind of sibling friend who just matches your freak in a way very few people ever will. Overall, they worked much better as friends in my opinion. And also Tomko all the way. Moving on, Kim and Ron don't have this same sibling vibe given that Kim has younger brothers whom she is not particularly fond of for the most part. This allows for her relationship with Ron to have a different kind of closeness, one distinguishable from a blood relation. She chooses Ron to be her friend, to be her sidekick, and eventually to be her boyfriend. Truly, they are on different levels in the school social ranking, and Ron is not as competent at crime fighting as Kim, but Kim wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. It feels like their friendship is based on them not being ready to have an actual romantic relationship, so they're dancing around not getting together sooner. Throughout the first 2 seasons, the show doesn't aggressively ship the pair, but there is a clear understanding from the narrative that the two could become a couple. They always go to school dances together, and apparently most of the school believe they are already dating. When Ron is interested in Sita, he worries that she will misunderstand his relationship with Kim.
See it through her eyes, Kim. You, me, boy, girl.
Yeah, so?
Seemingly coming out of a date movie. Together.
There are also the direct shipping moments, like the way Ron dips Kim when he's trying to get the tick off of her nose, Ron buying Kim the jacket she wanted, him being willing to attend the school dance as a date.
A date? Right, like a dating in a date-like kind of way. I could do that, the date thing.
Kim being upset when Ron instructs Rufus on table manners for the benefit of Sita, which he has never done for Kim's benefit.
That's cool when it's just us guys, but clean up your act. We're entertaining a lady.
Hey, you don't tell him to cut out that gross stuff when I'm around.
What's your point?
Never mind.
The Spider-Man upside down kissing scene reference when Ron dresses as the Fearless Ferret, Kim kissing Ron under the mistletoe, and when they fall asleep during the trip to the museum. There is also a moment that seems almost like anti-shipping. In one episode, everyone gets really into animology, which is this personality quiz that lets you know which personality type you get along with the best and which one is your soulmate. And according to this, Kim's parents are soulmates, but Kim and Ron are not. A lot of other shows would have used this kind of storyline to make them soulmates according to this quiz, and then have them attempt to date for a while before realizing that they are better off as friends, only to have them end up together later on anyway. But this little detail is a really nice point, like they are not together because they're soulmates, they're together because they want to be together. Season 3 is when the shipping really begins. Kim and Ron both become unconsciously conscious of their own feelings for each other. For example, Kim becomes more willing to meet Ron halfway when he wants to hang out with Felix, something she previously wouldn't have done. They also become more awkward around each other, trying to gauge if the other feels the same way they do.
What if you brought a date?
A date. A date. Well, it would have the element of surprise, but I've been down this road before. Unless... not that I'm asking you.
No, 'cause we're friends, and,
It would be awkward?
Yeah, That's the word I was looking for. Awkward.
In the second season, Ron comments that he has never kissed a girl, so we can assume that when Kim, under the influence of the modulator, kisses him in season 3, it is his first kiss. However, there is also a worry on either side, as neither of them want to risk their friendship for a relationship that may not last. Ron recognizes that he and Kim have had feelings for each other for a long time. He generally seems to be more aware of their romantic potential.
Something's different now. I mean, there's something between us. Who am I kidding? That's not different. Something's been there a long time. Well, I think there's something there. Does she?
My favorite parts of the active in-show shipping are Kim's parents, mostly her mom, being all happy about Kim and Ron getting together. I mean, Emotion Sickness is a fan favorite episode for a reason.
Oh, there he is.
The new beau!
Oh, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Wait!
Oh, we're just tickled pink about you and Kimmy.
We are?
And Anne being sad that Kim goes to prom with Eric instead of Ron. That's a shipper right there, and we all know it. I think one of the most perfect moments for their ship is in the movie when Kim immediately trusts Ron when he shows up at the prom running away from the army of little Diablos. The fact that Eric is trying to make Kim think that Ron is irrational and Kim just tells him that she knows Ron wouldn't make up something like that. Again, this is something other shows would do to create a greater conflict, but thankfully Kim is smart enough not to fall for such a dumb plot device. This also makes it more earned when Kim doesn't need time to grieve about finding out that Eric was a syntho drone before her and Ron get together properly. The ease with which Kim finally decides to date Ron also indicates that she has had feelings for him for quite some time. She had previously been very dismissive of the idea of Ron as a romantic potential. In the movie leading up to them actually getting together, she had been afraid of actually ending up with Ron as a prom date.
And I'm gonna end up with Ron.
I don't see the crisis, honey. He's a very nice guy.
Mom, he's not a guy, he's Ron.
So, as a friend, he's okay?
Well, yeah, he's my best friend.
But he's not boyfriend material.
Obviously.
Because of the food chain.
No. Yes. Well, kind of.
And we never really see her perspective of her reflecting on actually being in a relationship with Ron and what it could mean for her. So the fact that she immediately decides to give their romantic relationship a shot demonstrates that it just made so much sense to her that she decides to go with it after Ron confesses his feelings.
You know, there are guys out there that are better for you than Eric. Guys that are real, for one thing.
You really think there's a guy out there for me?
Out there. In here.
Oh, really?
Sure.
It seems that Ron's lack of confidence is the biggest obstacle to them getting together. The modulator reveals that Kim has feelings for Ron, but he is the one who holds back. Ultimately, it is Ron who has to make the actual first move, as we see in the movie So the Drama. Ron finally tells Kim that he is interested in her romantically, leading her to take him seriously as a boyfriend, and at the prom, it is Ron who has to offer his hand for a dance and is the one who makes the first move for their kiss. Additionally, Ron's lack of confidence leads him to doubt the longevity of their relationship, assuming that Kim will outgrow him, and this is certainly not helped by the fact that several of their antagonists express shock and disbelief at their relationship.
Impossible!
And boyfriend?
I seriously doubt that.
No, dude, it's true. Really.
Sorry, just can't believe it.
So, you two still
Dating? Yeah.
really? Sure the lass isn't tired of your pants-losing antics by now?
No, things are fine.
Okay, don't go all William Wallace on me. I was just asking.
Well, don't be asking.
However, this also leads him to try and better himself. He becomes the football team running back and gets a job at Smarty Mart. He also adapts to Hannah becoming part of his family, even if it takes a while. Although one thing I will say for Ron is that he isn't insecure about being outshined by a girl. He trusts that Kim is smarter and more capable than he is. This is also exemplified in something as simple as Kim being the one who has a car and thus is the one who drives said car. Kim also doesn't have a problem being the leader of the pair. So on the one hand, they play into typical gender roles, but on the other, they don't let themselves get bogged down by them. So yay for Ron being a perfect example of healthy masculinity. Once they are dating in season 4, there is a change to their dynamic, which I personally appreciate. In the first 2 seasons, Kim sometimes makes quibs that indicate she regards Ron as objectively unattractive, but once they get together, she often tells him that he is cute and that she is proud to be with him, i.e. she is attracted to him.
Saving the world has other perks too.
Such as?
Cuter boyfriends.
Oh, a booyah.
Because of their years of friendship, they have an easygoing dynamic with a softer edge to their relationship. They say sweet things to each other, and they don't have any growing pains now that they're dating. Kim firmly trusts Ron to be faithful to her, knowing that he wouldn't cheat on her with Bonnie.
Hey, I was the kissee here, not the kisser!
No kidding! It took you 12 stinking years to kiss me!
When he mistakes Camille Leone for Kim right in front of her, she is disappointed, but she brushes it off quickly. If Kim has any issues with their relationship, it's Ron's lack of maturity, which he remedies, so it's all good. Another thing I really like about their relationship is how at ease Kim is with Ron as her boyfriend. When we compare their relationship to Kim's previous fling with Josh Mankey, we can tell that she is a lot more comfortable with Ron. Josh is a great guy, he's chill, but Kim clearly feels very awkward around him. She is insecure, that's a big part of her character, but with Ron, she's never afraid of messing up around him or doing something embarrassing, which once again proves just how much she trusts him. Earlier in the show, anytime Ron changes, it's a cautionary tale where Kim has to pull him back and remind him who he is and that she and Rufus prefer him as he is.
Someone likes you just the way you are.
But we also see that Kim is not crazy for encouraging Ron to grow. He slacks in his classes, he doesn't want to have a job, at most he takes responsibility as a pet owner. However, Ron has a habit of failing upwards when he is pushed in the right direction or is offered the right opportunities. That is how he becomes the running back when he proves that he is a fast runner. He is great at his job at Smarty Mart and really enjoys it, which impresses his boss so much that he is handpicked to be a mentor for his son. Of course, Kim also goes through her own development in season 4. She also gets a job. For her, it's at Club Banana. Additionally, she has to let go of her classic mission outfit and gets a new one. A couple of episodes in the season sees her developing a better relationship with her younger brothers, whom she usually dismisses, but now she finally acknowledges their strengths and accepts their help when they offer.
I gotta admit, the sloth may not be perfect, but it came through in the end. Sorta like you guys.
This is also her senior year, where she has to consider her future, where she wants to go to college, and along with Ron coming to terms with the changes their relationship will encounter as they grow older. It is an important development for their relationship that Kim can admit to Ron that she is nervous about their future just like he is.
Okay, look, remember at graduation when I started to say I had a confession?
That was you? I thought that was Rieger.
It was me. Anyway, you don't think I'm scared too?
You? Scared?
She usually has all the answers, but finally she doesn't, and that gives Ron the strength and confidence to stand up for Kim, challenge his mystical monkey powers, and save the world in the end. And Ron was only able to accomplish this because Kim has always been there to drag him out of his comfort zone. Specifically with the mystical monkey powers, Ron is terrified of monkeys and apes. He only gets these powers because he has to stop Monkey Fist on his own. And he would have definitely sat out on going to the mission to recover the idol if Kim hadn't dragged him along. The mystical monkey powers are the weirdest storyline, with them only working half the time, which the show acknowledges.
I thought you were supposed to be some sort of master of monkey kung fu.
You know, it's funny, it comes and goes.
Still, this is also the most overall story arc in the show, stretching out through all 4 seasons. It's almost symbolic of Ron's slow yet steady character development that this story is spread out so finely over the show. Furthermore, this arc includes Ron having a spout of independence, going to Japan and training at the Yamanouchi Ninja School. Like, Kim couldn't do all of the pushing for his character development, and this also allows for Ron to let Kim in on a secret part of his life that he didn't have otherwise because they know each other so well. Obviously, Kim and Ron were a very significant ship, as it was their relationship that led fans to bombard Disney Channel with requests for a 4th season. And I'm so glad that this happened because it gave them a chance to actually prove that they they work as a couple. A lot of shows rely on ship shenanigans to create humor and tension in the story, which drags on throughout the show. Then they might get together at the very end and the audience is left assuming that everything is fine. But I fully buy that Kim and Ron will continue their relationship, and I prefer the two-parter Graduation as the finale over So the Drama. There are so many sweet moments between the couple, the way they hold hands when leaving Middleton High on the last day of school, and then when they enter the graduation ceremony, and the dramatic way Ron tries to prevent Kim from being abducted by the Lowardians, but ending the whole story on them flying away in Kim's car, Grease style, and then kissing with a promise of staying together.
Told you graduation wasn't the end of the world.
It is so sweet. Alright guys, I think that was about it for my analysis of Kim and Ron. They turned out to be a more difficult ship to cover than I thought they were gonna be, which given the more episodic nature of their series shouldn't have been surprising when I'm more used to story-driven shows with clear character arcs. But regardless, it was really fun to cover them anyway, and I am gonna make more videos about more episodic cartoons and character analysis and ship analysis in those. I just have to figure out which ones. But I hope all of you enjoyed the video. If you're still here, I assume that you did, so thank you so much for making it to the end, and please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing the video with anyone you know who might like it. I'm also on Blue Sky if you want to follow me there. I will put a link in the description, otherwise there is one in my channel bio, and have a really great day. Bye!